Welcome back, my friends, to BjjBrick Quick. This is probably your favorite quick Jiu-Jitsu podcast. I'm your host, Byron. Yesterday, we talked about having a map for Jiu-Jitsu, or are you lost in Jiu-Jitsu? I'm looking at these topics here on my computer that I wrote down, and these two, yesterday, I guess, was are you lost? Today is having that Jiu-Jitsu map. What do I mean by that? Well, hopefully you caught yesterday's, but do you have a direction of where you're going? This is just having this concept will make your jiu-jitsu better, quicker. What's your overall goal? Do you want to add a second sweep to your game? Are 90% of your sweeps one sweep? Imagine how much better it'd be if you could do a second one, or if you could do that same one as a lefty instead of a right-handed person, like flip it around. Look at your game. Do you want to make your best parts of your game even better? That's a valid thing to do for jiu-jitsu. 100% valid. You get most of your submissions from one thing. I want to make that even better. I want to get sharpen my tools even more sharply. Probably not the best word choice there. Or you could look at what are your problems? What are your weak areas? Can you bring those up to speed at least? If you're a purple belt and your takedowns or guard passing is really basically a white belt level, what would it take to get those up to purple belt level? Pick that map out a little bit. Looking at the map, and you plot a course, kind of break it down. Okay, I want to get better at takedowns. Maybe explore a few this week and see what kind of fits my style. What do I feel confident about trying now? What works on me? What have I been shown that works? What can my teammates teach me? What are my teammates really good at? Kind of just look at the map and see what's going to work. I think of a map where you're plotting a course. Most jiu-jitsu people plot a day. They don't plot anything, basically. You come into class, you learn something, you might try it while you're rolling, which is a good way to kind of retain that information. If it works, if you learn omoplata today and you pull it off on one of your good training partners, you're not going to forget that. You're going to have some good details that are going to stick in your brain. That's just one day of kind of implementing a roadmap or a plan. How about a week? What are you going to focus on this week? Is it the omoplata? Do you want to work on that? Creating that angle. Find some new ways to do that. I don't think a week is a wrong amount of time to spend on something, especially if you're fairly new. There's so many different areas to learn in jiu-jitsu. If you spent 6 months learning about triangle choke escapes, that's probably not the most effective use of your time. You should spend a little bit smaller chunks of time, like a week. Today I'm going to dabble, this week I'm going to really work on my escapes from mount. This week I'm going to work on my escapes from side control. This week it's going to be arm bars from a dominant position. This week it'll be getting out of the back position. Next week it'll be holding the back. I guess I can go on. You guys get the point. As you get more and more experienced, I think it's better to train per month. What's your theme of the month? And because after a few weeks and getting some reps in and having some time to reflect about what happened, what was right, what was wrong, going back on the mat, doing that again and again for a month, 2 months, whatever, you get a much deeper dive into something. How about a year? There are only a handful of things I worked on for more than a year, or about that year range, 10 months to 2 years. And I'm good at those things compared to everything else in my jiu-jitsu game. Could I have studied other things? Sure. I gravitated towards a few things, and And that's where I've dedicated my time. One of my best investments in time is I spent a couple of years learning side control escapes. I think that's a brown belt is when I started that. Every rolling session, I would usually start in side control or make sure I got to side control on the bottom every time. And I had to escape at least once during every roll. And I got quicker at it and more efficient at it. And now when I'm rolling, it's pretty darn rare if I'm stuck in side control longer than I'm comfortable doing if I don't want to, you know. Obviously, some people could mitigate what I'm doing. But my side control escapes are really good compared to most of my game. That was a good investment. It makes jiu-jitsu more fun for me. I don't get stuck in bad positions where my jiu-jitsu doesn't really happen. I like to get to where I could try to do some attacks or do something, you know, a little more exciting than be stuck somewhere. That was one use of more than a year. I spent more than a year working on back control. I want to get on your back. I want to stay on your back until I'm done. Like, I want to get that choke. And that really helped my back control a lot. Now, like I said, if you're blue belt, white belt, a year on one thing is probably too long. It's like your time on the mats hasn't gotten you there. You need to have that diverse game a little bit more. But after you get a little more advanced, what's interesting to you, what's going to drive you, what's going to fit your body type or your game or your style, dive into it deep. Every time you get on the mat, you're going to have something you're working on. That's going to be awesome. So what's your roadmap look like for your jiu-jitsu? Is it a day long? Some people don't even have that. They just go in there and they roll. They fight every time. They have no direction, no idea of what's going to be good, or what you learn in class today is irrelevant to what you're going to do on the mats. You are just trying to win. That's driving without the headlights on. No GPS. You have a week long, day long, month or year. Depends on where you're at in your jiu-jitsu journey. What's working for you? If you've enjoyed this podcast, check us out on Patreon. I'd love the support there. Don't have a ton of Patreon supporters. Each one really makes a difference. You can support this podcast per month because it being a daily thing, it really adds up quick. It's better to do it per month. Hope you have a great day today and stay sweaty, my friend.